Good morning, everybody. It is day 12 of the suffering. It's another day, another morning for cardio. Ooh, I wish I could wake up with tons and tons of energy, but that's just not the case whenever you wake up at 5:15 in the morning to the alarm clock. But that's okay. It's just part of it. I'm gonna get this cardio in and I'll see you guys in the kitchen. Back in the kitchen once again after a good morning's cardio. I am feeling much better today. I don't feel tired or exhausted. Of course, waking up first thing in the morning and only being awake for like 2 minutes and then jumping on the Stairmaster is rough. That is hard no matter what. But now that I'm up and I've been moving around, man, I feel great today. I really do. I know yesterday I was looking like a slug. I was moving around and I was just kind of like all day, but it is a new day and body has adapted and it has overcame. I got plenty of rest, which the same amount of rest I get every single night. So it's not like I got more sleep than what I normally get. I got the same amount of sleep. It's just my body kind of got over that whole post leg day exhaustion, which is always good. But I didn't stop. I didn't quit. And taking a day off when you feel like that is not quitting. It's not stopping. It's not giving up. It's not being weak. It's not nothing. Like, I already have a measuring cup. Okay. It's not anything like that. So if you have a very hard training day and the next day, man, it is just taking it out of you and you are just drained completely and utterly and feel like your legs are cased in center blocks and you can't really move or function without extreme exhaustion, don't uh don't ever feel like you're weak or you're not as good as someone else, or you're lazy or worthless or undriven or motivated. If you need a day off, take a day off. It's not that big of a deal. Now, I don't mean take a day off from your diet, but what I mean is like take a day off from the gym, cardio, get some rest. And if you have to take 2 days off from the gym and get some rest, get some rest. There's nothing shameful about that. There's been many times in the past that I would feel the way I felt yesterday, and I would just be like, nah, I'm done. I'm done today. I need a day. And I would take a day or two off from the gym and I would rest and recover. And then next time I made it to the gym, I would crush it. I would absolutely crush it. And it's not that I was making up for my lost time or my lost effort. I actually did a lot better because of that. There's been times, that's why there's deload weeks, right? When you get so tired, like you might even need a whole week off to really let your body rest and recover. That's incredibly important to know when you need rest versus when you're just feeling a little tired. Yesterday could have gone either way for me. Yesterday could have gone either way. I could have taken a day off and got some rest, or just pushed through it, and I pushed through it, and I ended up coming out on top from it. But tomorrow's Saturday, so Saturday I am working, but I will not be doing cardio. And I have to get to work an hour early and stay an hour late, working a 10-hour shift tomorrow. So I'll be getting home a little bit later than normal, but I'll still be working out. This would be my first week of training 6 days a week. So I'll be hitting my legs twice. Well, I hit my legs twice every single week, but this is my first week hitting everything else twice, my arms and shoulders and back. And then splitting up my days to be able to hit 6 in a week. And it helps keep me honest on the weekends, and it helps keep me on track with my diet. It makes it easier for me to eat on the weekends whenever I know that I have a training session coming up. If I'm not working out and I'm not hungry, there's a higher probability I might give in to not eating. Like, I'm not really hungry right now, and so I'm going to go ahead and skip this meal. Or maybe I'll wait an hour or two. I'll wait maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours, so I feel hungry, then I eat. But whenever I'm working out, it's a different story. I'll push through that, and I'll make sure I get every single bite in. Nutrition is important. It's incredibly important. Is the timing of the nutrition important? I think depending on what you're doing and where you're at in your training, I think nutritional timing is incredibly important. And there's been things to show that it does have an effect and it does make a difference. Depends on what nutrition you're getting at what times, like carbs before a workout or fats before a workout. Obviously, the carbs before the workout are going to be better. They'll hit you faster, give you more energy. But from some of the things that I've read and learned and understood, I made this pre-workout, and basically it was fat, protein, and carbs. And so your protein loads the muscles with amino acids, which helps recover and repair the muscle tissue. Your carbohydrates spikes insulin, which opens up the muscle cell and allows the sugar to pull out of the blood into the muscle or the fat cell. So if you're working out, it's going to be going into the muscle cell. So if the sugar opens up the cell by releasing insulin and the amino acids in the blood, it'll also pull the amino acid into the muscle tissue as well. But carbohydrates are very fast, rapid acting, especially when you're doing like a shake. So if you put fat in that, fat actually slows down the release of insulin and makes your body have a harder time releasing insulin. It releases it slower and longer. And then that way, whenever you take fats, proteins, and carbs in a drink form right before your workout, it allows you to have slow trickling amino acids and carbohydrates for energy over the course of 2-3 hours for a hard workout. Now, this is old data and old research that I looked up. I mean, I'm talking probably 9 years ago. But whenever I was powerlifting and I did this back in my 20s, it actually gave me a lot of energy whenever I took my caffeine, because I would take that drink and then have my caffeine probably 30 minutes prior. So I would take my caffeine and then 30 minutes later I would have that drink. So that drink helps the caffeine also push into your system a little bit better, and it did make me feel better, and it did give me long lasting energy for my whole workout. But again, at the time too, I was eating probably anything between 7,000 to 12,000 calories a day, depending on what training program and what training block I was on at that time. So take that for what it's worth. But look into that if any of you are curious, because I can't remember the exact details, because it's probably been over 10 years since I did that and read into it, and it's been longer since I even read into it, because I was doing that like over 10 years ago. So anyways, 6 o'clock, I'm going to cut the video off for breakfast right here so I can eat. I'll see you guys at 9. Same song and dance. 9 o'clock, chicken and rice. Second meal of the day. Always chicken and rice. I am feeling absolutely amazing today. My energy levels are back up and I'm doing wonderful. Yesterday was a really hard day for me. I was drained, I was tired, I was exhausted, I was worn out, beat up. Not today. So anyways, I think my rice cooker's messed up, because I cooked my brown rice again yesterday and it did the same thing where it fluffed the rice up, but it didn't actually cook the rice, and it just made it terrible. Like, there was a lot of water left in the pot. Like, what is going on? So I tried doing it on flash rice instead of brown rice, and it cooked it, but the timer didn't cut off in time. I had to keep an eye on it, because if I would have let it keep going, it was more than likely going to end up burning the rice. So I'm just going to go back to probably cooking it on the stove, and maybe I'll look into getting a better rice cooker. It sucks because I spent so much money on this rice cooker, and it's a better rice cooker that has a bunch of different options and features. It could be a slow cooker and everything else, but it just isn't doing its job, and I just cannot stand it. And this is why I always say measure your rice before you cook it, because when it cooks properly, I'll get 3 meals of 8 ounces on each meal. 8 ounces of brown rice with 4 cups of water will swell up to roughly 8 ounces for 3 meals. And whenever this rice cooker cooks it, it's gotten all the way up to like almost 12 ounces per meal. So 8 ounces will swell up to like 36 ounces. But when cooked properly, it'll swell up to 24 ounces. So if you're just throwing rice in a pot and then putting water in there and then turning it on, and then afterwards weighing it out, One day you might have a concentrated dose of rice, and that sounds silly, concentrated dose of rice, but like you can end up getting almost 200 calories 200 calories more per meal than what you were the day before. Even though the weight's the same, the volume's incredibly different because the amount of water in the rice is different, so the weight is different. And then the next time you come in, you might get way less calories. So you might get, you know, way more rice because of you didn't it cook faster or differently or whatever. And then the next time you have way less rice because there's more volume and less concentration. So you get what I'm trying to say. So otherwise, weigh your rice before you cook it. That way you know you're getting the right amount. I guess getting older, it just comes with the territory, right? Because my knee is swollen. Like one knee looks normal, my kneecap looks normal. The other kneecap looks like a baby knee. You know, little baby knees all nice and chubby, and you can't actually see the kneecap. Well, it's not cute on a grown man. So anyway, so I got a lot of fluid in my knee, around my knee, so there's still a lot of pressure. It doesn't hurt when I walk, bend, twist, or lift. It's just there's pressure and there's fluid in there. So I got to figure out what I can do because I don't want to just sit there and be taking a whole lot of ibuprofen, which I took ibuprofen two days. Well, not 2 days. I took it at night, then I took it the next morning. And it did feel like it relieved a lot of the pressure in my knee, but my knee was still puffy, like I had water in there. And I can't think of anything that I'm doing or eating that would be causing me to have inflammation. So unless it's the brown rice or the oatmeal and it's all the fiber causing gastro distress, which causes inflammation in the gut, which can actually bleed over into inflammation through the rest of the body, including the joints. It might be arthritis. I'm probably leaning more towards arthritis since I heard it back in October last year, which I actually tore this ACL and I needed surgery on it when I was 14 years old. I used to do BMX. I hit the ramp wrong. I came off the landing pad and I hyperextended my knee and I tore my ACL. We didn't have insurance. They wanted to do surgery on my knee, but we didn't have the insurance or the money. So for about 9 months, I was on crutches. We didn't have money to go through rehab. So I had to pretty much figure out how to rehabilitate my knee on my own. And that was a pretty hard time in my life. 14 years old and going through that was pretty tough. But never had surgery, was able to recover from it, made a full recovery. Despite all what the doctor said, you'll never walk again without a limb, you'll never run or jump or do anything. I was a powerlifter and I competed. So I took that as a huge win, but it's the same knee that happened to when I was 14 as the knee that I popped it real bad back in October playing kickball, running from my daughter, trying not to get hit with a ball. And ever since then, it's kind of bugged me off and on here and there, but the main thing is I don't know if it's a mild case of arthritis. If it is arthritis, I haven't been to the doctor, but if the swelling doesn't stop in the next couple of weeks, I'll give it probably about 4 more weeks. If the swelling doesn't stop, I'm probably going to go to the doctor and just get an x-ray on it or get imaging done and see if they can tell me what's going on with it. Because if it is something like arthritis and they could give me like a shot for it to get the inflammation down, or if it's just inflammation or whatever, maybe they could give me something to help get the fluid out of the joint and that'll get it going in the right direction. But I'm going to try to I was going to say diuretic. Honestly, I'm not going to take a diuretic, but I'm going to try to take it one day at a time, stretch, rehab, massage, do agility, mobility work, and do everything I possibly can to get the inflammation out myself. And I'm wondering if all the cardio and the Stairmaster is what's causing it too, the irritation of it causing the water retention. But well, it's starting to rain, so I'm going to go in. I'll see you guys at lunch. Friday night. It's our second arm and shoulder night of the week. This is a top set of tricep press downs right here. Start with the triceps to warm the elbows up. And then from there, we move to biceps. And then from there, we move to shoulders. So my shoulder's bugging me a little bit from yesterday because I did the high cable crossovers. That kind of bothered my shoulder and the crossovers. I'm not in pain, but I could feel some mild irritation in there. So I'm not going to shoulder press tonight like I was supposed to. I'm just going to do front laterals, side laterals, and then possibly some bend over laterals. I'll make it audible and see how I feel and move it and adjust it. I also just really appreciate I don't know if it'll pick it up on camera if you can see it, but all in here and here on this knee, you can see how puffy all that is. That's Very, very awesome. But it doesn't hurt. Just some water retention, a little bit of fluid. Okay, so the goal here is 8 to 12 reps. I'm going to try to bang this out for 8 to 12. That was a perfect set right there. I used 120 pounds. I got probably about 3 to 4 reps shy of failure. Probably could have pushed about another 3, 4 reps with good form. Not trying to hit failure, just trying to get close to it. So that way I get a nice, good, deep muscle burn, but I'm still able to recover because remember, I'm in a huge deficit. I'm doing cardio twice a day. I'm not trying to burn up my muscle mass. I'm just trying to help preserve what I have by stimulating it enough to keep it from atrophying while I'm lifting and doing cardio and dieting and doing a cut. Top set, top set. So when I do the triceps, I like to start with the overhand, then we move to a neutral, and then we go to underhand. That way we hit the whole tricep all the way around. That's the way I like to do it. Just feels good. Just feels good training like that. Unpopular opinion, I absolutely hate training biceps. I hate training biceps. The reason why I hate training biceps is I never feel it in my bicep. This is the only movement right here that I actually legitimately feel it in my bicep. I feel it harder in my bicep than any other movement I can do. Barbell curls, hammer curls, straight bar curls, preacher curls, you name it, doesn't matter what kind of curl I do. This is the only one that I legitimately feel it in the peak of my bicep from my shoulder to my elbow joint, 100% contracted. I think it is the ultimate movement for my skeletal structure, muscle structure, whatever you say. Part of me is just like, well, don't even worry about doing any other bicep movement. Just do these. Just do 12 sets of these and just really go ham on them. I mean, the only function of the bicep is just to do this anyways. So what does it matter if it's a barbell or an easy curl or a hammer curl or a cable curl or a concentration curl or an ISO machine curl? What does it matter? It's a curl. So if I feel it in this more than any other bicep movement, why don't I just do this? I don't know. Maybe it's just habit. Maybe it's just old folklore about needing variety, even though you don't really need variety. Not really sure. I gotta take my mic off to do this. So if not, I'm gonna crush it against my chest and it's gonna hurt. So you guys tell me what you guys think. If you think you can get away with training your biceps just doing one movement, or if you need to have multiple movements and muscle, like different angles. Like, does muscle confusion exist? Do you think by doing a barbell curl over a dumbbell curl, your biceps will respond better? Or do you think if you just do barbell curls this week and then dumbbell curls next week, that's enough? Or does it have to be all on the same day? Or does it even need to be changed at all? Because everyone talks about progressive overload. So if you're progressively getting more reps and more weights every single week that you work out, well, that's the stimulus that responds growth. So why do you need to do 15 different variations of curls or even 3 variations of curls whenever you can achieve the same goal by using the same movement just by simply going with 1 more pound or 1 more rep week after week after week after week until you stall out. And then once you stall out and you can no longer get any more reps or any more weight, then change that movement out, right? That kind of almost seems logical, right? Let me do barbell curls until I can no longer get any more reps or any more weights, and I stall out doing sets of 10 for however much weight. Now, since I've taken that exercise to its full potential, let me go to dumbbell curls and do that. Now, once I stall out with dumbbell curls, let me go to cable curls and then preacher curls and then spider curls and then cycle back to barbell curls. And then will I be able to go heavier next time around whenever I get to that same weight, or will I be able to get more reps? Will you continue to grow or stand still? So I'm pretty sure the answer is somewhere all over the place. I'm sure there is no just one simple, this is the answer, this is it. It's probably a mixture of everything and nothing at the same time. High cable curls are something that I used to love doing when I worked out at a commercial gym because they're jungles, they're cable crossover systems. They're taller like a foot or two, and they're wider like 3 or 4 feet than this one. So when you're doing it, you can actually like stand up and get that full stretch on the bicep and curl. But the problem with this one is, well, me standing all the way up, it's not much of a high cable curl. But the ones at the gym, like I said, it's about 3-4 foot further that way. It's like another 1 or 2 foot taller. So you're actually up here pulling down. So my cable crossover system isn't as big. So it's not as enjoyable to do them actually standing up like you would at a commercial gym. Even though my equipment is commercial grade, this one's like light commercial, so it's built a little bit smaller for a smaller footprint, which is fine. So we improvise by getting down here on our knees. Of course, we put these gym pads down, so they're a little bit more forgiving on our knees. Now look. Oh, look. Now it's like I have a full-size system here where I can actually do it correctly. And this is how I know my shoulder is getting better, even though I said earlier I'm not going to be able to shoulder press tonight. Back when I originally heard it, I couldn't even do this because the position to put my shoulder in. Now I'm able to do this 100% pain-free. So like I said, my range of motion is slowly coming back, but it's something that I'm still working on, and hopefully soon I'll be able to get back to full range of motion the next month or two. I love preacher curl bench. I love doing preacher curls. I hate this preacher curl bench. Reason being, and you cannot do anything. There's a pull pin to adjust the pad here. So you can adjust the angle, which seems super cool, but there's a lot of slop. And there's literally nothing you can do about that slop. Oh, it's not that big of a deal, but when you're curling and you get to a certain point, it clicks and shifts, and then it moves the load on your shoulders and elbows and biceps, and it just feels awkward, and it throws off your whole lift the whole time. So I finally found something that this thing is good at, and it's holding the weight so I can just simply do easy curls. Why? Because I want to do easy curl, preacher curl, bench, preacher curl, easy, but whatever, however you want to say. I would like to do that, but I can't because this thing is just sucky. So I really want to get rid of it and get something else. Maybe a side lateral machine, maybe a standing calf raising machine, maybe a little ab machine or something. I don't know, but something better than this. But this is our last movement for our biceps. Just regular old standing easy curl bar. The front lateral raise is a very excellent exercise to hit the front delt, but it also could be used to build your traps up. So if you want to build your traps with this, if you actually take them all the way up overhead, you'll actually engage your traps. So from the top of your neck to your shoulders and back, you'll engage all those muscles, and you can actually build up some pretty thick traps without ever actually having to do shrugs. So if you suffer from migraines, or if you get a pinched nerve in your neck, or you get real bad stiffness from doing shrugs, I know some people get bad migraines and they get bad headaches from doing shrugs. Well, you can actually substitute shrugs with full lateral raises overhead, or front lateral raises overhead, and I'll actually engage the trap muscles in the neck and around the shoulders to help you build up your traps without having to actually suffer through getting migraines or headaches from like upright rows or doing shrugs. So a little tip for you guys. I don't have a problem training shrugs, so I only go parallel to the floor and then back down. Also, a little side note, taking arginine again, as you guys know, I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it's like, I don't know if the vascularity is because of I'm leaning out, or if it's because I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not. And like I said, I don't know if that's from just reduction of water weight, or if it's from the arginine. So back to what I was saying earlier about the biceps. I figured it would work if you just do one movement for your bicep. As long as you're getting more weight or more reps every single week, you don't have to do a huge variety. Because to be honest, I've been doing this same shoulder routine for a very long time. Front laterals, side laterals, bent over laterals. The front delt, how many angles can you really hit your shoulders? I mean, you could go over, like overhead. You could come here, you could come here, you could come here. I mean, everything in between here, but really it's this motion here, or it's this motion here. So it's like same as the bicep. It's literally this. I mean, it's not really like super complicated if you think about it. Like, you don't have to make it that complicated. You can make it super easy. Also, shoulders are one of those movements, side laterals, front laterals, that I will choose to go up in reps over going up in weights. So doing sets of 12, you could go a lot heavier. So I will actually start to opt to do sets of 15 to 20 on side laterals and front laterals over going heavier. I just don't think it's one of those movements that you have to put a lot of effort into and be like, we got to get super strong in this, and it has to be a power move, and we have to go as absolutely ridiculously heavy as possible. I just don't think you get a lot out of it when you do that. Do you have to use super strict hardcore form where there's no body English or no cheating, or you have to stick with a lighter weight? No. It's situational, and understand the situation you're in and what your body's requiring and what your goals are at that time. Out of all the equipment I have in the gym, this little pec deck from Body Solid, I got this for like 550 bucks off of eBay, I believe. And I didn't want to have to do bent over laterals anymore, like bent over, like, you know, reverse laterals, whatever you want to say. Work out the rear delts. I also wanted something to train my chest other than bench press and dumbbell press, because at the time all I had was a power rack, and this was the next piece of equipment because I had a power rack and a bench with a barbell, and I had some dumbbells. So this was the next thing that I bought, and this little bitty pec deck, reverse pec deck machine from Body Solid is probably, let me think about this for a second, 13 years old. About 13 years old, roughly, because me and my wife has been together for 16 years. We've been married for 16 years, and I got this about 3 years into our marriage. So 13 years old, I've been pec decking and reverse pec decking away on this little piece of equipment here. And I gotta say, it's probably one of my most sentimental pieces of equipment I have in the gym. Probably one of the most sentimental ones I have, just because of this and my original power rack that I still have, that's older than this, that I got for $300 on eBay, is where my garage training all began. Because I got tired of commercial gyms and all the rules. I have worked out in commercial gyms and used mini pec decks and reverse pec decks. I've even gone to commercial gym outlets that sell brand new commercial and home commercial grade pec decks. And I would put the quality of this one and how smooth it is against any of those. And all those were priced between $2,000 to $4,000 for those pec decks, reverse pec decks. Now, this is plate loaded. Those are pin stacks. So you actually get a stack with a pin. That's the only advantage that you get with that versus this one. As far as it goes for quality and smoothness and how it glides, I would put this against any one of those, especially for $500 versus $2,000 to $4,000. I want commercial grade everything I have because I don't want it to let me down, fail, or break, or give up on me. But for doing pec deck like this, there's no reason all this piece of equipment would ever fail. I mean, you really can't overload it for how heavy you can go. The only downside is the action on it is a square tube. Inside of a square tube, I'll show you if I can't see it. That's the only drawback. It's not a bearing system. But even still, even though it's not a bearing system, all you have to do is just get grease and just like a lithium grease and just grease this up and it slides like butter. Well, that's it for the gym. Got 20 minutes of cardio to do on the Stairmaster, and then I'm going to have my shake. And from there, I'm going to have dinner. I figured I'd show you guys this part of my routine as well, not just the morning, midday to the workout. I'm going to go ahead and start doing this because I'm going to be posting these videos the next day. So I have time to edit and upload. Yes, Mr. Kitty, I hear you. It's my cat, Mr. Kitty. He was a stray, actually. He showed up on our porch one day in the pouring down rain on a winter day, starving. All his ribs were showing, his little kitten. And my son asked me, can we please keep him, please? So we went ahead and brought him in the house and nurtured him and got him back to full health, and we got him fixed. And now he repays us by killing rats and rodents and snakes and everything else around our property that we don't want. So he earns his keep, and he's an indoor outdoor cat. He goes inside outside, but we have property, so it's not a big deal. So this is 75 grams of whey protein ish and water. I just get the regular gold standard Isopure whey. It's 24 grams per scoop. So I do a little bit more than a scoop. I kind of do like a little bit of a heaping scoop. So that way I'm for sure to get 75 grams because I want over 75 grams for this right after my workout. I also do 5 grams of creatine right before this. So I actually went inside when I was getting this, took 5 grams of creatine, and now I'm going to drink this with my 5 grams of creatine. And this is something I used to do whenever I was bodybuilding in my 20s. I would drink protein immediately after my workouts because that's what all the bodybuilders did, and all the pros and everybody talked about it. They all said the same thing. You know, if you work out within 30 minutes to an hour, you have to get protein in your system, fast digesting, quick absorbing protein for the anabolic window to help promote muscle growth and blah, 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 blah. It's been proven, it's been deproven, it's been bunked, it's been all back and forth, but it just tastes good and it's sweet, and it's a lot easier to get down after a hard workout than sitting down and eating an actual meal. So that's why I'm doing it. Same thing for the supplements: creatine, arginine, glutamine, beta-alanine. I'm taking all those right now, and if you ask me, do you think they're working? I think they are, because this is day 12, and normally by now I would be looking really, really flat. Don't get me wrong, I am looking flat. My muscles look deflated, they look depleted, my shoulders lost their caps, my arms lost their peaks. I'm super veiny, but as far as it goes for muscle size and volume, yes, I have definitely gotten a lot flatter than what I was, but I think that I'm retaining some of the fullness to my muscles because of the supplements. So I'm going to contribute that to the supplements that I'm taking of why I don't look as flat. Now, do I still look fat? Yeah, you bet I do. I still have a whole lot of fat to go, and I still got a whole lot of fat to lose. But that comes off over time. That's not something that it's going to be overnight. Everybody knows that. You didn't put it in overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight. Like you can't gain 30 pounds of fat in 1 or 2 days and then expect to lose 30 pounds of fat in 1 or 2 days. It slowly creeps up on you. Like it's something that happens over time. Like you don't notice it. You're eating something, it tastes good. You're starting to get full, but you're like, you know what? I only got like 3 more bites. I'm gonna take those 3 more bites because I don't want to waste it and throw it away. It's here, I can do it, and you get it down because it tastes good. And then that leads to next time you eat it, it's not a fight to get it down. You just get it down, and that leads to you wanting more of it, and then eating more, and then you just slowly pack the pounds on over weeks and months, and you just don't really notice it. And then when you go to lose it, you notice it because you're hungry. And I don't care if you're 500 pounds overweight or if you're 150 pounds underweight. Hunger hits everybody the same. Like I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are, and I don't care like how you go about it. Hunger hits everybody the same, whether you're skinny or you're overweight. You're in shape, it doesn't matter. Hunger is a very powerful driving force to motivate people to do a lot of things for a lot of reasons. And it's just one of those things that like man, I had a train of thought. I swear to God, I was getting somewhere with that. I was making a point, and then as I was in the middle of making that point, my ADD kicked in, and I was just like, there it went. So if it comes back to me, we'll circle back to it. But anyways, like I said, so hunger hits everybody the same, regardless of how size you are, and how big you are, how skinny or fat or overweight. Oh, the food thing. So when you're eating food and you continuously overeat, it makes it easier to get hungrier faster, and then it also makes it easier to want to eat more next time you eat because you're so hungry, and then because you're stretching your stomach out. And then the things that you eat can cause massive bloating. And if you eat a whole lot of food in 20 minutes, and it causes this great deal of massive bloating discomfort, and you're like, oh, I'm so miserable and I'm hurting so bad, all that gas and pressure is just stretching your stomach out. And then you do that so many times, your stomach will start to stay that size. And then eventually that is going to be the new normal, that you're going to have to put amount of volume into your stomach to give you that sensation of feeling full. But if the thing too though is if you wait and eat slow in 20 minutes, you'll start feeling full. Like it takes about 20 minutes for your body to start digesting and absorbing food to shut off those hunger signals. So whenever people used to say back in the day, if you chew your food 32 times and then swallow, basically what would happen as you're chewing, you would slowly naturally swallow your food in the process of chewing, which causes you to eat slower, which causes you to feel full fat, like not faster, but allows you your body to have a chance to start to feel full without over consuming. So I mean back then people, I mean they kind of had it right. Like the slower you eat, the longer it takes to eat your food, the fuller you're going to feel with less food. Well, I'm going to finish the shake, and then I have to go to the store to get a couple items. And from there, I just got to hang about and eat dinner.